This is how I built a note-taking habit I actually use to curate my best ideas. Your next idea can change your life, if you actually remember it. But how exactly do you build a habit that sticks? I've spent years hopping around from one app to another, chasing the perfect workflow, trying to find what works for me. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 simple questions I answered to build a habit future me could rely on, and how you can do it too. The first question is actually the most important one, and skipping it is the reason a lot of people's note-taking habits fall apart before they even start. You can take all the best notes in the world, but if it doesn't meet your personal needs, you're never gonna use it. That's why step 1 of creating a note-taking habit that actually sticks is asking yourself, why do you even need to take notes in the first place? I used to try to take notes on everything, every book, every video, every stray thought. I spent more time taking notes than actually learning or creating. And every missed detail felt like a personal failure. I started to think that I was falling behind, that I wasn't good enough, and my notes stopped feeling like a tool and started feeling like just another item on my to-do list. It got me nowhere. Really, what I needed to do was figure out why I even needed notes. In my case, I realized that for a lot of the things I needed to do, the final output was writing. I write essays to learn, I write scripts for YouTube, and I write PRDs for work. By focusing on this, I shifted my goal from collecting random notes to writing more. And this goal might change over time, and that's perfectly fine. But having one at least gives me a clear starting point. Without a clear reason for taking notes, you're just gonna end up working harder, capturing everything, but getting nothing but digital junk in return. I'm taking notes to write better. And maybe for you this means studying for exams, managing projects, or tracking research. Having a clear reason that you care about changes not only how you're going to take notes, but whether or not you're gonna do it in the first place. Now that you've nailed your why, it's time to figure out when you want to take notes. You need to catch your notes where they actually happen. And most people think of 2 main things for this: books and meetings, or classes if you're a student. So they built their note-taking system around the idea that they're always going to have their perfect note-taking app and notebook or fountain pen in front of them. But not all ideas come to us when we're ready. They come while we're walking down the park, or when we're in the middle of dance class. Instead, notice when your best ideas strike and plan to actually catch them. So for me, this boiled down to 3 main scenarios. First is when I'm intentionally learning. This is when I sit down and focus on a book, a video, or a class I'm taking. And since these are premeditated, I use Obsidian on my laptop. Next is when I'm feeling reflective. In these moments, I like to write things down by hand so that I can really process my emotions. And then finally, sometimes ideas will just strike randomly throughout the day. If I'm lucky, I'll be sitting at my desk with my laptop or my planner ready, and I'll just use those. But more often, when I'm out and about and I need to write an idea down, I'll just use Obsidian on my phone. And it can be totally different for you. Maybe you like making voice notes while you're walking. Maybe you like to write spur-of-the-moment ideas on sticky notes. Take a second to think of the last 3 great ideas you've had. Where were you? What were you doing? Start with 3 specific scenarios that you commonly find yourself having good ideas in, and start with that. The goal is to have a capture method for each scenario. When a thought arrives, you want to know exactly where and how you're going to capture it, not solve a complex algorithm to figure out what you want to do. But even with the right tools, it's easy to fall into a trap. Because as soon as people start taking notes, they over-engineer it to a point that it becomes too complicated to keep up. Instead of writing a quick note, they build a 15-step tagging system that they're never going to use. I know I did that. It's the productivity version of playing The Sims. Note-taking should make your life easier, not more complicated. To avoid this, you need to figure out what factors you really care about. This will help you capture the best ideas with the right details with the least amount of work. And just like your note-taking tools, how you take your notes is context dependent. That's why the 3rd question you need to ask yourself is, what do I actually want to know? For instance, for my focused notes, it's important for me to know what project a note is associated with. So I create them in folders. And I know folders are old school and everybody says you should use tags for everything. But hear me out here. With folders, I can easily see every active project I have and every related file for each one. No queries necessary. And I think of everything in terms of a project. Books I've read, events I'm attending, videos I'm making, everything is a project. Other people like to use tags because it allows them to add multiple tags to a note. So you'll need to figure out what works for you and how you prefer to organize your thoughts. Within these focus notes, I care about the main idea and how I would explain it to future me. Anything else like quotes, sources, links to related notes, personal reflections are only added when necessary. This is why I don't often use templates. Adding in fields and sections to fill in only adds friction for me. My quick notes, on the other hand, are completely unstructured. Since I take them while I'm out and about, the only goal is to write down what I'm thinking of. Anything else adds additional unnecessary friction. And similarly, my handwritten notes are usually fairly unstructured. My daily planner has a date on top and I just write my thoughts on the corresponding page in freeform. And since my goal for these is to just process the day, I don't even read them very often. The key is starting small. Most people fail because they try to build their entire system overnight. And here's the thing, you don't need to plan this all perfectly. Your notes are going to change over time because you and your goals are going to change over time. So don't worry too much about getting the most perfect system on your first go. Just start taking notes and see where it takes you. But simply capturing ideas is just the first step. The real magic happens when you see these ideas start forming patterns. So to learn how you can connect your ideas better, check out this video. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!